Well, howdy there, Internet people. It's Bo again. So, today is the day, right? Today's the day a whole lot of Americans have been waiting for, and I would imagine that most of the nation's eyes are turned towards New York, waiting for proceedings involving a prominent Republican figure. However, on the other end of the country, it was Democratic Party officials being picked up. In Florida, in Tallahassee, Florida, there was an assembly, and by all accounts, it was a peaceful assembly. It was a demonstration in support of reproductive rights because the state of Florida is attempting to push through a 6-week ban. At some point, and for some reason, the government officials in the area, I guess they determined that those involved with the demonstration had used up all of their First Amendment tokens. Law enforcement instructed them that they needed to be gone by sundown, like it was some old Western. Those involved with the demonstration did not agree with that interpretation of the First Amendment and remained. They basically engaged in a sit-in. They sat in a circle, sang songs, so on and so forth. Shortly after sundown, law enforcement showed up to issue the final warning. At this time, the circle was singing "Lean on Me." You really couldn't have scripted this better. Law enforcement issued their command to leave, and the circle was holding hands. They raised their hands and began to sing even louder, at which point law enforcement initiated the process of removing them. Among those picked up were Florida Senate Minority Leader Book and Florida Democratic Party Chair Nikki Fried. My understanding is that those involved were transported to Leon County Jail on trespassing. It's an incredibly minor charge in Florida for those who are concerned. Now, while what's happening in New York is certain to get a whole lot more press because it has a greater capacity to get clicks, we need to keep in mind that there are other fights going on all over this country. And these fights, the outcome determines people's rights when it comes to the First Amendment, to their right to privacy, to their right to autonomy, all kinds of things. What is likely to happen with all of the Trump stuff is that it is going to dominate headlines. We can't forget that there are other things going on that have a very tangible impact on people's lives. So while what's going to happen in New York it's important and it's something that needs to be watched and paid attention to, remember that at this point it's not a spectator sport. You have to get involved. And I would suggest there's probably a high likelihood that we see more and more politicians end up with minor offenses on their records because in many areas there is a more authoritarian approach to people who are exercising their constitutionally protected rights. Now, that being said, that's the news. If you happen to get a chance to watch the footage, it's worth it. I am not sure I have ever seen anybody as apathetic to getting cuffed as Miss Fried was in that. It just looked like pure annoyance. Anyway, it's just a thought. Y'all have a good day.